On today's All-Star Recap show,
Wolves rookie Zach LaVine single-handedly saves the dunk contest.
Steph Curry finally wins the three-point contest and does it with a record-setting performance.
And we quiz the Gasol brothers, Pal and Mark, on just how well they know each other.
The starters' best of All-Star Weekend starts now.
Good day, Sweet World, and welcome to the Starters NBA All-Star Recap Show. Whether you're joining us live online, listening to the podcast, or catching us on NBA TV, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets. Alongside me, as always, it's Taz Mellis.
Who needs an extended break? Not these guys.
To my right, Starters blog editor, and more importantly, Starters reigning dunk champ, Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Hey-o! Congrats on the win,
Way to go,
finally.
champ.
Feels so good.
The loser of the dunk contest. Someone had to be the loser. It's the International Man of Mystery, Leo Ellis.
Friends, I'm very happy Trey won that.
Yes.
Look how delighted
me
he
too.
is.
Yes, and we will have the rematch next year for all the marbles in Toronto. I can't wait for that. All right, so we're back in Atlanta. On tonight's show, we're going to share our interview, actually, with the Gasol brothers that we recorded in New York City. And we'll also run through, once again, the All-Star edition of our meme team. But we thought we got to look back at this All-Star weekend and share or talk about a few of our favorite moments. I think one of the best moments of the entire weekend was Steph Curry in a fantastic three-point contest, catching fire there in that second round, in the final round, hitting 13 consecutive shots. Klay Thompson, his Splash brother, came after him, went cold, and it was Curry's to win. And fourth time's a charm for this guy.
It feels right. A guy that we all sort of label as one of the best shooters of all time already this early in his career. Some call him the best shooter of all time, that he would finally win a three-point shootout, being his fourth attempt, and the way he did it in record-setting fashion, potting 13 in a row. That was really fun to watch. The crowd hanging on every ball. And that one, that didn't go down, but a record-setting 27 points. Was a blast in Barclays.
Yeah, he missed that last one on purpose, just to prove that he is human, though. But we talked about it heading into the weekend. I remember we were hoping that one guy in particular would catch fire like that, because we had the chance to be in the arena. And it is awesome when someone hits number 8 in a row, number 9 in a row, and with each shot, there's just more and more of a buzz.
Especially because it built up to that final. It was him and Klay and Kyrie, and we thought we were going to see something special. And then Steph went out and delivered it. And as you mentioned, people in the crowd, everyone was getting behind it. We just wanted to see him go on that hot streak. He built up, he got that record 27, and it was just great.
Well, after the win, Curry, talking to the media, credited a particular Australian for really helping him get the victory. Have a listen here.
You mentioned this morning you might check out some YouTube videos of past champions. Did you do that? And if you did, what'd you notice, if anything?
I actually turned on NBA TV, and they were going through all like the 20 top moments in All-Star Weekend history and all that. And there's about 4 or 5 of them that were the three-point contest. And most of the right-handed shooters were grabbing from the right side. And so I wanted to kind of set up the racks out there to be able to do that. And it obviously worked, so that might have been the secret I've been waiting on.
What's also interesting, he started off that first rack with the ball to his side, to his right, and these other racks are to the left, so he has to pull the ball across his body. I think that makes a difference.
You're a real technician here.
I am, because I think it is important to get the ball closer to you, where he's pulling it across his body. But 19 straight from the start, that is unbelievable. This is the final here in 1988 as well. He had really struggled in those first 3 racks, caught fire on this 4th rack, and then goes home and wins it in the last rack. But also, he's in his shooting jacket as well. And again, as I pointed out with Craig Hodges, sometimes he pulls the ball from across his body, and sometimes it's right next to him. It's unusual that he didn't have the same style for each rack that he shot.
So there it is, Steph Curry, crediting a little bit, at least, Lee Ellis for helping him win this thing for the 4th time. No, he was listening to what you were saying about where guys reach it, and he went out and made sure it was always on the right, for the most part, at least.
Maybe I could become like Holger Gershwinder is to Dirk and become his shooting coach, and just say, Steph, you need to do this. Work on your shot. Work on the arc a little bit more.
There you
Why
go.
didn't he put on the shooting jacket?
Exactly right. Let's talk about the dunk contest a little bit. Zach LaVine, the 19-year-old Wolves rookie, really did sort of single-handedly save this thing. There were some other good dunks from some guys. Oladipo's 360 reverse was great. But the 4 dunks that Zach threw down, unreal.
And it was basically the one dunk, his first Space Jam dunk. It happened, and you're like, okay, well, he's going to win this contest pretty easily because he threw it down so easily. His very first attempt, it looked awesome, and you knew that if that's his first dunk, there's a lot more crazy stuff behind it.
Yeah, it's not Vince Carter in 2000.
No.
Nothing is ever going to replicate that, but you can't tell me that the 4 dunks in total that he put on, the performance from him, from Zach LaVine at wasn't at least top 5 material for guys. Jason Richardson in the mix, Gerald Green, stuff like that.
What you want at a dunk contest to be taken out of your seat. and I know me speaking for myself, I got out 3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And yelled and screamed because it was beautiful stuff. And I like what Kenny said during the broadcast. Even his 3rd and 4th dunk, we couldn't appreciate really because his first 2 were so amazing. We were kind of grading him against himself, which is spectacular. I mean, he slides, he's floating.
He's
Yeah,
so
he was
smooth.
made almost for the Phantom cam because when you see it in slow motion, he's up there for like 6.5 seconds. It doesn't even make sense.
That's exactly right. I just hope now that he defends the title in
course he
Toronto.
will.
And I'd love to see Andrew Wiggins, of course, being the Canadian boy, try and take it from him.
Yeah.
Those two going against each other would be unreal. But I would be watching Zach LaVine, and I'm sure Wiggins does this in practice, and go, I can't beat this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to imagine someone trying to beat him because he says these were his safe dunks. These were his safe dunks, and he was allowed that because a lot of guys were missing dunks, which is the unfortunate part. Another moment, this one we loved because we had talked about it heading into the weekend. For the 3rd straight year, Team Bosch, Chris Bosch, Hall of Famer Dominique Wilkins, and WNBA's Swin Cash, they kicked off All-Stars Saturday night by winning the Degree This Time Shooting Stars competition. Yes, that is a dynasty for Bosch. He's unreal at this.
Chris Bosch takes his job extremely seriously.
Yes,
I mean, make fun of him all you want, but he stepped up, hit his first 3-point shot, then his first half-court shot, and then his next 3-point shot. First 3 shots, he went 3 for 3, and then he took a shot at Dominique Wilkins' strength by jumping on his back.
Just tossing a sweet thumbs up.
That was questionable. I mean, you don't want to jump on an old-timer's back like that.
But he was fine.
The old-timer,
Seemed like a sturdy guy, at
he
least.
handled it extremely well. Then he gave the thumb like only Chris Bosch can. That was great.
That's 3 in a row for Bosch. How many of these is he going to win? Because when Chris Bosch retires, you know he's going in this. He'll be the Dominique
He'll be
of
the
his
legend,
group.
yeah.
That's on his resume.
But, you know, when he does shoot those half-court shots, still, it is just a normal kind of shot for him, just a little bit more strength it takes to get it up there. But that maybe is the technique. Other guys try to do the sort of the push or the overarm throw. He just has a normal shot with a little bit more elevation.
Oh, that first one he hit went like 50
Yeah,
feet
he
in
shot
the
it
air.
so
Went
high.
straight
Got to give
high.
it a chance.
You
and
got
now you know all net swish bomb.
You got to give it a chance. So Saturday night was really good. Let's get to the game on Sunday, a high-scoring affair. That tends to be the case in All-Star games. But Russell Westbrook, surprising a lot of people, really, by going out and winning the MVP of this game. You know, we were talking about LeBron, maybe Durant being angry. Not a lot of picks that I saw. You know, James Harden in the mix, but not a lot of guys picking Westbrook. But he goes out there. He scores 27 in the first half in very limited minutes, finished with 41 on 16 of 28 shooting, gets the MVP honors, and nearly sets a record, you know, nearly catching Wilt's 42 in an All-Star game.
And he probably should have had the record. He missed a couple of dunks, missed a
Yeah.
couple of layups,
Yeah.
but it was just fun to watch. He was fun to watch all night, hitting bombs from 3-point and then kind of faking like he was going to do his little celebration,
gun,
but he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of standing and having funny jokes and stuff. He was an entertainer that night. It was fun to see.
What do you expect? He's playing against second units.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook.
exactly.
Right.
But at 27 points in the first half, it was a record and it was fun to watch. This guy obviously has one motor. We always say that in a game where guys gear down and go into gear 2 and gear 3
Yeah.
and just kind of hang out. This guy was going all out. So it sort of makes sense that he would pot that many points.
It's also rare that the MVP is a guy who comes off the bench. It has happened before.
That's
Shaq
true.
had it twice, Glenn Rice and Mitch Richmond. But since then, really, there's been a big gap. Usually it's one of the starters, LeBron, Durant, Kobe, one of those guys.
One more moment from that game in particular, a favorite from the weekend.
This was fun.
Dirk Nowitzki throwing down an alley-oop for the first time in nearly a decade. A decade, basically.
Yeah,
So
a
there-
century it feels like.
Yeah, Steph Curry's throwing it up there. He didn't realize he said that he had Dirk coming down the wing, but Dirk gets up.
Really skies for that one.
The dunk is great. The celebration, of course,
Awesome,
better. Reminiscent of Vince Carter there, winning the dunk contest in 2000.
Absolutely right. Reminiscent of Hulk Hogan, as we'll see a bit later as well.
That's right. But there's the last time before the All-Star game that Dirk had an alley-oop. That
Before
was
HD TV.
2004, and there's everyone doing the pose. The Usain
Wow,
Bolt
it is
slash
the
Hogan.
dunk pose of the year. Throw it down in the game sometime, fellas. You never know.
That was a hilarious moment. Those are the little things that you want in
Yeah,
an All-Star
yeah,
game,
for
stuff
sure.
like that. So again, a great weekend, a bit of a whirlwind for all of us, but it's great to be back in Atlanta here, coming with you to the Daily Show. We got to take a break though. When we return, something that we had a lot of fun with in New York City, we quiz Pau and Marc Gasol on just how well they know each other. So come on back. You're watching the Starters All-Star Recap. On Sunday, Pau and Marc Gasol became the first brothers in NBA history to start an All-Star game, but before their historic jump ball, the two Spaniards joined us on set to have a little fun. Well, we've had some fun thinking up some new events for All-Star Saturday night on the show. One of them we talked about was like a sibling 2-on-2 tournament, because there's a lot of brothers in the NBA. Not just you guys. We got the Morris Twins. You got the Plumlees. Yeah, the Dragons.
Lopez.
I mean, it goes on and on. How do you think you guys would fare in a 2-on-2?
I like our chances. Okay.
That's better, yeah.
That's more like it, right?
A lot of confidence.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, I like our chances.
It's over. It's over.
I didn't say that. But I do like our chances.
What about against the Dragic's? The little guys might have a slight advantage because, the Gorans don't know.
No, still I don't think.
Well,
No,
still,
you're
if
getting
it's,
into
if
that.
it's
What
make it, take it, and you go with H first, right? H should have the ball at first.
older.
Then we would pound them inside, and they have no chance.
Fair enough. We also, our fans always sending in crazy questions when we get to the mailbox earlier in the week. We had one. They were asking us if you could pick one NBA player to have a sleepover with. Come over, party all night. Who would you pick? Now, Lee down there in the crazy shirt, he decided Pau Gasol. And,
Yeah, I picked you.
and you had a couple reasons,
Yeah.
Lee, why it was Pau.
Well, first of all, I think you'd bring over tasty, healthy snacks. I don't think you'd bring over a lot of junk food. I think you'd want to watch a really good movie. And I think most importantly, you'd want to go to bed at a reasonable hour. You wouldn't want to be partying until 3 in the morning. I've got a young son. I don't like to stay up too late. So I think that's why I chose you.
All right. Well, thank you for
What sort of movie? What sort of movie would you?
Flattered.
What sort of movie would you bring over if you came over for a sleepover at my place
with
and watch
you
a movie? Yeah.
specifically. I don't know. It should be your home, so I guess I would give you choices.
Right.
We could go. I don't know.
You like the Shawshank Redemption? That's what he thought.
I
you
said
would
the
bring
Shawshank
over.
Redemption.
I was watching lately. We could go Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
good.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so that's good.
Yes. The one that I also enjoyed a lot, it was Whiplash. Have
Right.
you seen Whiplash?
No, I haven't seen that
well,
one
that's
either.
another
Yeah.
good one.
He doesn't get out. That's why he wants you to come
The
over.
last movie
never
he
gets
saw
out.
was Shawshank Redemption. Yeah.
So those two movies, I think one of the two you would enjoy.
We want to find out how well you know each other, how well you know your brother. So it's very simple. We're going to ask you guys to pick up these clipboards here with the Sharpies, and we'll start by asking questions to you, Pau, about Mark. But both of you will be writing them down. Now, I don't want you to show each other. So the question, again, for Pau, and Mark, you'll write your answer. What is Mark's favorite movie? Funny enough, we're speaking about movies. What is Mark's favorite movie?
I'm thinking because I'm sure I know it.
Is he a comedy guy? Is
Does
he
he
a
like the
serious?
trilogies or you know?
Okay, here we
go.
Interesting.
Okay. We've got an answer over here.
Okay, so we'll get Pau will get you to show the fans here. Lord of the Rings.
Look
Mark.
at that. Look at those.
Lord of the Rings.
Go.
Here we go. All right,
One
you
for
guys
one.
one for one. All right. Another question for Pau. Mark, you write down your answer. What is Mark's biggest pet peeve?
What is that?
It's
Like the thing that
something
annoys
that
you the
bothers you.
most.
Yeah.
Something I really get.
Just in general.
Day-to-day life.
No. What is
Okay.
your? Oh, okay. You answer it how you gotta answer it.
He knows.
The question is, what is Mark's biggest pet peeve? So what does
About you,
really annoy him?
apparently.
Specifically to do with
Oh, okay.
About Pau.
Yeah.
Specifically to do
About
with
you, I guess. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, something you
We've
do
been
that
through
really.
it today, yeah.
Oh.
We've been
okay.
through it today, Mark
Okay,
says.
that's a nice clue.
Look at these hints. They're dropping hints, dude.
Oh, trust me.
Oh, interesting.
Mark's had it. Mark's had
Okay,
it.
What do we got?
Pal, turn it around. Being late. Being late.
I mean, it's word for word. the
Wow.
same.
So
Tarde,
why
mucho tarde.
are you always late?
I'm not always late. I'm
Always late.
I'm sometimes late.
We were supposed to have you on the show that we
Seems
did
like
earlier
Mark
today.
says you're always late.
This is one of the times that I've been late. It's just I take things just really easy.
It's a Spanish thing, isn't it?
Stress.
Yeah.
Is it Spanish?
The
No, it's
Spanish
not.
part.
No, it's not. No.
It's not necessarily Spanish.
If Pau wasn't a basketball player, what would he do?
Oh wow.
Okay.
He's written that down
It's
before
over,
you
yeah.
finished
Both
asking
guys,
the question.
all
both guys
know,
writing
yeah.
it down
Yeah.
very fast. So Mark, turn around. Doctor. Wow, look at these. Look at these bros.
I think we would have had a six-man doctor if we were all filling
let's
that
be
out.
honest. That was a softball question.
Yeah.
That was
Good. I appreciate the easy ones. You got it.
All right, let's make it a little more difficult. Mark, what is one thing Pau is better than you at? And you can't say being on time or being late, I guess. Is what it would.
And I hope he. Is it a sport?
It can be
It
anything.
can be anything.
Yeah.
Is it a sport, Pau?
Hey, no cheating on this one. No cheating. It's not a sport. Yeah, okay, we'll give it.
Well, you have to say it in
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so turn around. We got singing.
Singing.
And singing.
Singing and singing.
Guys, we can't thank you enough. I know it's very busy. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Marco Pau Gasol.
Thank you, guys.
We got to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll revisit a few of our all-time funniest moments. Come on back. You're watching the Starters All-Star Recap Show. Back with the Starters. Every week, we scour the internet to bring you the meme team, a few of our favorite weird and wacky moments from the past 7 days. But for All-Star Weekend, we decided to blow it out a little. So if in case you missed it the first time, here it is again. It's the Starters all-time All-Star meme team at number 10, 2009 Phoenix, Kevin Durant playing a little horse. It was interesting, some good shots, but the best part of it, the trophy that they gave him was like a My Little Pony trophy there.
Fresh out the box.
Yeah, exactly.
Still has it?
I hope
He
still
must
has
have
it.
it next to his MVP trophy.
Little known fact at number 9, Michael Jordan hates pants. Just rips them right off Penny Hardaway. Not having it.
More like Pants Hardaway.
What?
Not really.
What?
Nope.
Get
Not
out
like
of here.
pants
Come on.
Get
at
out.
all.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking?
Well, that's a great moment.
Tearaway pants.
What a joker.
Lots of great moments with tearaway pants.
At number 8, Jason Richardson in the Rising Stars game 2003 gets his and one mixtape going, bouncing the ball off Carlos Boozer's head and then knocks down the 3. And that's the important part.
Yeah.
He not only gets it off the head, but he knocks down the 3, or else we wouldn't
Yeah,
be
that's the
showing
difference about this and an M1 mixtape. You can't always count on them making the end.
it. Yeah, you're right.
Brent, you can count on Brent Barry for some fun. After completing his three-point contest, man pulled out some dance moves.
Oh, fancy footwork.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
How you like that salad up there, Tassie?
Yeah.
He never,
moppy.
never takes
moppy.
off his warm-ups, too. Anything he does.
He's in his
He
element.
walked
though.
home in those shoes, remember, too? He told us.
That's right. A little more dancing at number 6.
Back.
It's Bulls mascot Benny the Bull trying to impress Jay-Z and Diddy there with a little single ladies action. He's getting down, but Jay-Z not flinching.
Diddy almost cracks.
He
He
Oh,
does. Jay-Z almost cracks right here, right here.
Right at the end
He's
here.
He's about to, oh, come on. That
Thinks
was
about
funny.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At number 5, 2009, Allen Iverson showed up with a shaved head, and his teammates could not believe it. They pulled out their phones. I remember being at that All-Star weekend, and that was the talk of the
It was.
weekend.
It
Allen
legit
Iverson-
was.
Men looking at this guy's hair like, wow, you got a haircut.
At number 4, before we ever had C-Webs run through the tape, there was Dickie versus Chucky in the weirdest race of all time. This was a thing that actually happened here in Vegas. And Charles, Sir Charles, just
I
getting
think
the
he should ask
victory.
for a rematch. He could probably beat Charles now.
Seal it
A bit slower.
with a kiss.
At number 3, the worst dunk contest attempts in history. Hate to rip on these guys, but when you lay it in, you're getting ripped on. Daryl
10.
Armstrong. Michael Finley, a bad cartwheel. Can he make up for it with the dunk? Absolutely not. That's not
9.
going to happen. Cormaggetti's front flip was spectacular.
Whoa.
This part was just a dunk.
It's a two-hand dunk.
8.
And Allen Houston bounces the ball to himself.
Okay.
Then he throws down a pretty boring dunk shot at
Give it a
Mr.
7.
Houston. And Baron Davis throws down the windmill to nowhere. Listen, at least we know he wasn't faking it.
That's
He couldn't
right.
see,
I guess. Yeah,
like
that
other
was so
guys
weird.
in previous dunk contests.
At number 2, I love this moment. 2012, the All-Star starters coming out. You see LeBron into it, Dwight Howard, Melo Wade. Derrick Rose wants nothing to do with dancing.
Almost embarrassed to be there.
Yeah, like look at that look.
Who are these guys?
Come on, you thought I was gonna dance? Give me a break. Too serious, Derek. Why so serious?
Cheer up, man.
At number 1,
I love
the
that look.
king of dancing at All-Star Weekend, Shaquille O'Neal. All-Star Weekend was made for this guy, and he gave us a lot of moments to throw into this one clip.
Sometimes
When he
it
throws
feels
the
like,
booty shake in there, yeah, I mean,
He should do that in front of Jay-Z and Diddy.
feels like he played his whole career just so he could go to the All-Star games and be the star there and just get his dance on. Why not, you know? He's a cool guy.
Shaq said they never, ever rehearsed this dance with the Jabberwockies. They just made it happen. I kind of believe it.
Yeah.
Shaq just let it happen. I mean, this part seems a little
It's
coordinated.
natural.
Yeah, but the rules of improv, man. Look at those Jabberwockies go. They know what's up.
Here
Zip, up.
Are we going to call him Pants O'Neal here, Lee?
Oh, there you go.
I think so. Him and Pants used to play together.
Oh, he wore it as a
Get
cage
out.
and everything. There it is.
Shaquille O'Neal.
There it is, the All-Star edition of the meme team. Agree, disagree? Let us know on Twitter.
Jumping back to this All-Star Weekend, every year we show you the personalities of the NBA stars by asking them a question they can have a little bit of fun with. And since this year's Media Day was on Friday the 13th, we asked them, what kind of freaks you out?
Kyle, it's Friday the 13th, a very spooky day. What freaks you out the most?
Nothing. Oh, snakes. Snakes.
Nothing except for snakes?
Except for snakes. Snakes, yes.
It's Friday the 13th today. It's a bit of a scary day. What freaks you out the most?
I'm very superstitious, you know, and Friday 13th, just that date freaks you out.
LaMarcus, it's Friday the 13th, a very spooky day. What freaks you out the most?
You bringing that up, probably.
Sorry, man.
Is there anything that freaks you out?
Statues. Historic statues. My rookie year, I mentioned that I'm kind of creeped out by statues, and people made a big deal out of it.
Do you feel like they might come to life or something, or what is it about them?
I mean, I just start to think about their time, you know, when they were living and some of the things that they're known for. I mean, it just blows my mind. You know, I love history, so it's kind of crazy to me to see like statues and stuff like that.
I would say heights. Heights freak me out the most.
Oh, today Friday 13th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know. I mean, that's scary. I might stay in my room.
Al, it's Friday the 13th. What freaks you out the most?
The weather.
Guys go to haunted houses. I walk in first and I exit. I don't go to those things. I don't like it. That's the only thing that really scares me.
Is there anything that freaks Chris Bosch out?
I never was, you know, traumatized by the Friday the 13th stuff, so that superstition doesn't really stick too much for me.
What about like the Philly Fanatic? I think you said last year you didn't like the mascot.
Yeah, he kind of creeps me out. That and the San Antonio Coyote, those big eyes, they're kind of creepy.
Snakes, heights, and statues. That is what freaks out your NBA All-Stars. All right, final break. When we return, a marvelous wedgie from late last week. Come on back. We're watching the starters.
Welcome back to the show. Now, one special moment I wanted to show you happened just before All-Star Weekend. Thursday night, Cavs Bulls during the TNT broadcast, legendary broadcaster Marv Albert called a wedgie and gave the starters a shutout. Here it is.
It was Noah who led this team in assists a season ago without Derrick Rose on the floor.
Actually, that ball was coming down. They called the jump ball very quickly. And now a timeout is taken. Let's take another look. The officials, Reggie, made a quick call. As the starters of NBA TV fame like to call it, it appeared to be a wedgie, but it was not. And the officials said, jump ball.
We appreciate the shout out, Marv. That gives us 32 total wedgies on the year. It's the year of the wedgie. It just doesn't stop.
All right, guys, we're going to be back on Thursday for a very special NBA trade deadline show. An hour long, gets started at 6 p.m. Eastern here on the network. So we'll see you then. Hopefully we get some trades.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, Canada isn't a territory, state, or province. You're going to need a passport to get there for All-Star 2016.
Race the night, people.